Just about everything.
Hangout is live.
Hey, what a great way to start the hangout. Sorry, Wits Head, what was that you were saying?
I've logged just about everything I found.
There you go.
Hey, it didn't shut the room up like it did today at our meeting.
Oh?
Oh, yeah?
That sounds like a good story for later, maybe?
Yeah. I think I'll share that one off air.
Okay.
Remind me when we go off air. That'll leave
so,
them all wondering.
For those just joining us, we were talking about giving Wits End a hard time about not logging his cache finds, but he did come back as the show began, or as the live recording began, to let us all know he does, in fact, log his finds.
Yeah.
No, he logs the ones he finds.
Yeah.
There's difference.
He logs his finds.
Isn't that what
Yes,
you're
it's
supposed to do?
Well, if you're caching with people, one person finds it, everybody can log the find.
If I'm there and I've actually seen the cache in my hot little hand, then yes.
This is a cache machine related.
But cache
topic.
machines, when we split up and these three people go find those two over there, and these three people go find those two over there, I never even saw that one. I'm not going to log it.
That I agree with. Hey, let's start a show.
All
Wits End? You're going to close. You're going to start us. I'm going to close because I close anyway, whether we've ever scheduled to close.
Yeah, it doesn't
All right.
matter what's on the show notes.
I'm going to move up to the top of the show notes here.
Oh, it is just after 9, so I'm going to hit record, play some music, let you guys kick in. We've got a great show tonight. I'm excited.
Play that funky music, white boy.
Thank you. Here we go.
Welcome to Caching in the Northwest, the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the great Pacific Northwest. Tonight we'll talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So grab that umbrella and walk all casual like you belong there, because it's time to go caching in the Northwest.
Oh, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, there's a certain video where I'm out caching with these gents here, and there's dialogue in the background. I'm quite a distance away. I didn't hear it firsthand.
Bonus points if you can find that footage. Never mind.
Okay. Tonight, though, we're going to focus on Pathtags and bring you a pre-recorded interview with Kathleen Sharp, or better known as HB Van Isle Lady. And because he simply won't stop showing up, we're once again bringing you our northern neighbor. Some say he's learned English from the Queen, and others say he's just adds extra vowels to be difficult. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Thanks, I think. And I'd like to take this little brief opportunity to extend an offer of geography lessons to Dr. D. Canada, oi, oi. Right then, those lacking context will need to check out the Oh Beep Geocaching podcast. Hashtag end terrible English accent.
I've heard worse.
I just love Canada, oi, oi.
Oi, oi.
I just love saying that.
Yeah. Canada was in the news this week, sadly. But
sadly, yes, and our prayers and our thoughts go out to the families affected.
I saw a clip on the news that the victim's dogs are waiting for him to come home. Isn't that sad?
That is sad.
So let's move back to caching on happier notes. And remember, there are still more chances coming up on Caching Northwest to win great prizes. That's a better subject. That's more fun. So send us your scariest caching story ever.
Nicely done.
However you define scary, you know, that's fine by us. Did you almost get caught by the principal because you were supposed to be in class? That's a scary thing. That's something completely different.
Like smoking in the boys' room?
Something like that, yeah. Oh, we could write 70s rock songs with that.
Or even 80s rock songs.
Yeah, whatever. Some of us remember the 70s rock songs.
Some of us were there.
That's right. So send those entries in by email or by phone by October 29th. to automatically be entered for another prize drawing to be announced on our October 30th show, which is, well, right about a week away.
Excellent. Yes. So please call 253-693-TFTC. You can figure that out on your phone and call it right now and tell us your scariest caching story.
Sorry, it still makes me giggle. Operators are standing by. Don't wait. No,
Your call is important to us.
That's right.
It will be answered in the order in which it was received.
Please listen closely as our menu options have recently changed.
Yeah, no,
Right.
we don't call much anywhere. No.
Yeah.
Holy
So, as we don't have any listener feedback to share right at the moment, what we are going to do is skip into a hot off the presses news story that. Thank you. Yes, now that I've got the Telegraph hot in my hands here. Just this morning, the city of Richmond in British Columbia released 30 caches in what they are calling the City of Richmond GeoQuest, or Core GQ. According to the website, and we'll have the link in our show notes, it's www.richmond.ca/parks/about/program/geocaching.htm.
Wow.
Did you get that?
Yeah, you could do like insurance company disclaimers. Very good.
That was really well done.
Wow. And I'm not even on cold medicine tonight. All right. So according to the website, it is a series of 30 hidden geocaches in parks, on trails, and at community facilities. Find all the caches, complete the passport, which you would print off from the website, and you will earn a limited edition trackable geocoin. And it is noted that supplies are limited, which is, I think, what they mean by limited edition. Anyways.
So go find them now.
So, yeah, and on that note, I'd be surprised if by the time of our recording tonight, there aren't a few who've already completed this new Geo Tour. I was taking a look at the logs on a couple of the cache pages just before the show and noticed that there's a couple of familiar names that have been going out this afternoon or this morning. But good for them. I was at work. No further comments needed. Anyways, so I have had a peek at a few of the cache pages, and it does look like it's a fairly well put together and fun tour of the city of Richmond. It's not a huge city. With an early start, you should likely be able to drive it in a full day of caching, get all 30. Most of the locations, from what I've seen on the map, they look like they're bike or transit friendly as well. So, you know what? 2 thumbs up. Good job, City of Richmond. And folks, if you're looking for GC codes, the first cache in the series is Core GQ number 1, Island City, GC5DF1N.
And so, Mr. Land Monkey, for those that are geographically challenged up north, where is the city of Richland, compared to, I don't know, state of Montana?
Or even geographically challenged.
Yeah, so
I don't have that tonight.
And for the phonetically challenged, and for the phonetically challenged, it's Richmond, not land. So.
Oh.
That's okay.
Just offended the entire country. I apologize.
Wow, you're really starting to narrow down the places you're allowed to go to. You got the Eastern Seaboard's out as of this afternoon.
Yes, thank you very
now
much.
Canada. Anyways,
pretty soon I won't be able to leave my house.
The city of Richmond is actually where the Vancouver International Airport, is located. It's immediately south of the city of Vancouver and northwest of Delta. If you are coming from, maybe not Montana, but if you're coming from Seattle or environs and you come across the border, you'll come across the border in White Rock, South Surrey area. You just stay on Highway 99. It will take you right into the city of Richmond.
There you go. Highway 99 is what our Interstate 5 becomes at the border, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Very nice. But we are not here to merely talk about the city of Richmond, which is really, really a nice city in Canada if I had ever gone there. But we are here tonight to talk about Pathtags.
We are. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, our very own Mr. Land Monkey has done an incredible interview with apparently the queen of Pathtags.
Very cool.
Apparently, yeah. So first of all, I'm going to apologize for the audio. It was a bit of an experiment for me on how to record audio out of a Skype call, and it didn't go as well as I was hoping. But the content is there, and you should be able to understand it. It's just a little on the troubly side. But this week, I did have the opportunity to interview Kathleen Sharp, HV Van Isle lady, and she's a Pathtag design consultant, and I learned a ton about Pathtag design and some questions about Pathtag etiquette.
Ooh, etiquette.
Hmm.
Well, let's jump right into the first part of this interview, and then we'll break it apart and talk about it.
Good morning, Kathleen.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us for this interview. I really appreciate you making the time.
Fine. Time is something I have in the mornings.
Perfect. So just to let those who are listening know, this is Kathleen Sharp, or HB Van Isle Lady, and we're going to talk about Pathtags.
Pathtags are fun.
Well, I think so. So let's find out. Let's go through here. So the first question I have for you, Kathleen, how long have you been involved in geocaching, and how did you get started?
I've been involved in geocaching since 2007. I was had my dog down at the estuary in Campbell River, and I seen this fellow. So I'm just a curious type, so I actually stuck my nose in and asked him what he was doing. And on the observation deck in the estuary in Campbell River, there used to be a little film canister hidden there, and he was having trouble finding it. So I helped him find it and went home, looked up geocaching.com, signed on to account, grabbed this old GPS I had that was given to me as a present, and I found my first cache just less than a quarter of a mile away from my house, which was a multi, and that was it. As soon as I found it, I thought, this is fun. You know, this is fun. There it is. I'm hooked.
There you go. Yeah, that sounds like a familiar story. That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
So we're talking today about Pathtags, and perhaps some of our listeners aren't familiar with what Pathtags are. Can you explain what a Pathtag is?
Well, the Pathtag is a small personal item about the size of a quarter. You design them and order them. In geocaching, they're usually a signature item. You find them in caches if you're really lucky. So a lot of Pathtaggers don't drop their tags, but geocachers do. We leave them in geocaches. They can be used for promotions. Companies make them. Events make them and hand them out at events. The recent 3IE event had Pathtags. There's people making Pathtags for that. They're just really, really cool little items for swag. I love putting them in caches. I love finding them. So I love collecting them. I have over 500 now.
Wow, that is a lot of Pathtags.
Pathtag collection. I got them in little books.
Neat. That's very cool. So on that note, if I'm out geocaching and I find a Pathtag in a cache, or if I bump into somebody at an event or at a cache, if I'm lucky, and they hand me a Pathtag, what do I do with it, and what's expected of me in return?
Okay, so it's important to remember that a Pathtag is not like a trackable on geocaching.com. It's not something that you move cache to cache. You can use it as swag, but it is its own. Every little group of Pathtags that someone makes has its own. Does not have a unique number. It's only unique to that tag. Doesn't matter how many tags that Pathtagger orders, 50, 200, 300, they all have the same number on the back. So you find a Pathtag in cache, or it's handed to you, it's yours. That's the nicest part. It's like, I can keep this little token that's really cool. And what you should do is just like, anytime you find something in cache you want, you trade. You really should put something back of equal value. A Pathtag is generally worth around $2 a piece. So, you want to see something put back in the cache. There's nothing worse than come and find the cache that's totally empty. So you find a Pathtag, you put it back. If you find it and you keep it, create an online account at pathtags.com and log it. Log it that you found it, and that's in your possession. And keep it if you want. It's really neat. I love seeing the comments I get on my tags. I love seeing where they are. I can look at them on a map. Because I trade online, I see them all over the world, and it's cool. So we really like to see where our tag goes. There's always a web address on the back of the tag, so you could check it out and look at the tag, see whose tag it is, and log it.
Nice.
Hey, cool. Well, Land Monkey, you've had some very artistic experiences, great artistic skill. Have you made any of these geocache path tag things?
So actually, yeah, we're working with Kathleen currently to make our first set of Land Monkey path tags.
Very cool.
And yeah, we're not depending on my artistic skills. Otherwise, we would have stick monkey path tags.
You're just being humble.
Oh, men of much facial hair, have you found, traded, or been gifted even, or given path tags? Boy, let me tell you, I have met some rabid path tag collectors in my day. And much like geocoins, these little shinies are enduring and compelling to many geocachers even.
To be honest, I haven't collected them. I think I've seen a few, and I was really looking forward to this show tonight to learn myself, because I don't know a lot about them. I honestly thought they were a trackable item just like any other geocoin or travel bug. So I've already learned something tonight, that apparently they're very larger than your head and very blurry on the video.
I just reached around to grab some behind me, but yeah, big as my
and
head.
I tend to when I do go geocaching, I tend to go with very empty pockets, meaning I almost never take any swag, because I almost never have anything to trade. So, but more often than not, I just sign the log and move on. So I don't have anything to leave or take. So I don't collect them even if they are there. But
fair enough. Looks like we have Bad Cop some feedback from Wet Coaster in the Q&A.
We do. He says, should path tags be treated in a cache like a collectible? Or should be tracked in a cache?
Should be tracked.
Tracked in a cache. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure what he's getting at with this, but let me take a couple swings at an answer, and we'll see. We'll probably hit it somewhere in there. So if what he's getting at is like on the description page for the cache, where you can see if someone's dropped a travel bug or a geocoin, you can see it in there. That doesn't show up there because they're not officially tracked by geocaching.com. In fact, I've found out in an interesting manner that geocaching.com doesn't like the promotion of path tags on any of their cache pages. So no, from that perspective. The other angle that maybe he's getting at is should you make a note in your log if you're dropping path tags in? I think that's totally reasonable. If you want to let somebody know, hey, I visited your cache and I dropped one of my signature items in there, I think that's awesome, actually. I'd love it if people did that on their log entries for my caches.
Sure.
So hopefully somewhere in the middle there, Wet Coaster, I hit an answer to your question.
Yeah, maybe he thought, like I did, that they were trackable items like geocoins.
Well, they are. This is what Kathleen was getting at. They are trackable, but they're trackable as a batch. So every path tag you get has the same serial number if it's from the same batch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can log on the pathtags.com site so that the owner of the path tags who's been handing them out can see where they ended up, to Kathleen's point. As for us, I see Wet Coaster just replied back and said contents in the cache on the description page. That's what he meant. So there you go. Happy to know that we hit the answer there, Wet Coaster.
Throw out enough words, we're bound to get something right.
It's the million monkeys with a million typewriters.
They could do a podcast.
They could. They probably are right now.
That's right. Where do you think these show notes came from?
They did come from a monkey. Mrs. Land Monkey and I, speaking of monkeys, we have a small collection started of path tags. Some have been gifted to us, which is awesome, and once we have our own, we'll return those gifts of our own path tags to those folks. Some we found in caches, and we've traded for them when we found them in caches. And like I said earlier, Kathleen makes a really good point about trading fairly for them. I mean, we all know you're supposed to trade fairly for items that you find in a cache, and just try and encourage that etiquette.
Exactly. Well, let's get back to part 2 of this interview.
Okay, Kathleen. So I've decided that these path tags are cool, and I want to make some. How do I even start?
Well, there's 2 major path tag sites that I'm aware of. There's other sites out there that will make tokens. I'm not really, haven't really looked into where they are, but for path tags themselves, there's pathtags.com, which is where I started, and there's xtags.com, which is a new site that is still being developed. There's still a few glitches in the site that it's not quite up and running, but you can still order tags from them. They both offer a really good product, various options, and competitive pricing. I researched both of them. If you want to make a tag, I researched both of them and find out which one you're comfortable dealing with. Right now, the X-Tags, you can't log online, but they're working on that part of their website, and they're coming up with it pretty soon. So, path tags, where do you start? You start with getting a design and then submitting it and paying for it, and then waiting like 2 months before you actually see your tag.
That part I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So Kathleen, I'm not a great artist, and anybody who has been watching our video podcasts of Caching the Northwest and seen my entry into our logo contest can attest to that. So, not having much in the way of artistic skills, how can I get my path tag design created?
Well, the tag manufacturers like Pathtags.com and xtags.com both have what they call their design partners. These designers have a proven track record for good design work. They're very competitive. You can see their portfolios. They're not just on the 2 websites. There's also Facebook groups like Pathtag collectors and xtag collectors on the Facebook. They have you could go on there, and there's always people willing to design a tag or start out, or they know a name or they'll recommend one. My first tag was designed by a design partner for Pathtags.com. So you look at the design partner or the person that you want designing their tag, you really want to see what their style is. You want to have the same type of ideas, and you have to be comfortable with your designer. You want to be able to talk to them and get what you want across and have them be able to put it together. So, you find who you want and you contact them and set it up. So, and after that, it's submitting it to pathtags.com and wait. And the wait.
Awesome.
Oh, there you have it. Wait.
Yeah, lots of waiting. Well, so us land monkeys, as I said earlier, we've gotten to know Kathleen through the process of making our first path tag. And yeah, there is a lot of waiting involved, but the waiting has certainly not been in the working with Kathleen part. We found she was amazingly quickly responsive, which was super awesome. And she was recommended to us by a trusted cacher who had Kathleen help her make her first path tag. And honestly, the process was quite simple with Kathleen's guidance, and she stepped us right through the whole thing. We did ours with pathtags.com, mostly because 2 factors. Pathtags.com, they have the ability to log and track them, which I think it's xtags, the other site, doesn't have that running yet. So to us, we really want to know who's got them and where they are. So that was a big factor. And the other factor was just around, there was a discount available at the time from pathtags.com. So.
There you go. Well, that's really important.
Absolutely. Well, they're exciting. I think they're cool.
Now, we've got a 100th episode coming up, and I really want to design a path tag for our 100th episode of Caching in the Northwest. So we're going to have to get with her and have her help us to work out a design for that path tag. Otherwise, we might end up with the now infamous land monkey, stick monkey figure.
Hey, not that there's anything wrong with that.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. It is now infamous.
That's right.
That's
Yeah,
beyond
don't worry.
famous.
I'm not offended at all.
Well, that 100th episode is coming up. It's not right around the corner, but it's going to come up faster than we think it is. And I know the Bad Cop has been wanting to host an event for that 100th episode. So give us a call, leave us some feedback if you'd be interested in attending a live recording of the 100th episode of Caching in the Northwest. Email 100th episode to feedback@cachingnw.com and let us know if that's something that you would like to sit through and endure live.
And let us know which side of the 49th parallel that should occur in.
Oh, good point.
Well, if it's south of the parallel, it's in the Northwest.
Oh.
North of the parallel, it's in the Southwest.
Or
Can we
maybe
do it
it'll...
on the parallel, and it would just be in the west.
There you go.
Looks like that's going to make it somewhere in June of next year, late June. It says the 18th or so. We're going to see if maybe, things happen between now and then, holidays and whatnot, but probably right around late June.
Need to check my math. It's going to be middle end of June. So
we'll nail it down when it gets closer, and let us know if that's something that you'd like to do.
yes. Now there's one more part of this interview that we're going to jump into.
I can hardly wait.
And then stay tuned. We'll be back.
Okay.
So Kathleen, what is the most memorable path tag that you've designed, and why is it so memorable?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So to me, this is like asking which is my favorite child. I love all the path tags I've designed. Definitely the ones that have a story to them or a personal design request, because the personal design request usually is some sort of memento. They want to put something together that they remember or they celebrate together, or even a what do you call it? A cause tag. I recently did a cause tag for someone, and it's been made into an X tag, and that kind of tag really touches base because I work in the health industry, so anything that has to do with the cause, I really, really enjoy making because I see the cause, and so whereas I can't nail it on a tag, one of those kind of a personal tag or a cause tag is definitely would be one of my favorites.
Interesting. So when people are submitting the designs for tags, do you sometimes get like actual photos that people send in?
Yes, I get sometimes they're very specific what they want, like you, and it's actually fairly easy to design the tag and work with it because there's specific things you want on the tag. If it's not specific things, then we start popping ideas back and forth, and I start throwing out different ideas that I might give them 10 different things, and then they go, okay, I like this one, but I like this on this one, and this one on this one. Can you put it all together? I did a International Earth Cache event award tag for Vancouver Island Cacher. They submitted to me a couple photos, and I used a couple of things that I had, and we worked around it and put it all together, and it turned out really, really good.
Fantastic. So, Kathleen, I want to thank you very much for your time today, and I want to give the opportunity to you, if people would like to get in touch with you about path tags or anything else, share with our listeners how they can reach you.
I have a Facebook page for HBV Design. They can just search design path tags right on Facebook and come up with the group. And they can also come up with a lot more. It's a good way to find out who else is out there with the groups and look at pictures. Or they can use my email and get in touch with me directly through vanallady.com. Pardon me, vanallady@gmail.com.
Awesome. So that was vanallady@gmail.com or
Yes.
HBV Design on Facebook.
Yes,
Great.
that's the one.
We'll put those in our show notes for our listeners.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. So, Kathleen, thanks very much for your time today.
No problem. That's been great. Thanks, Jay.
Well, I don't think I've ever heard of a cause tag, but those sound really cool because, who doesn't like a good cause?
Absolutely.
I think of the Human Fund, money.
That's a good
for
cause.
people. That's a good cause. It
Yeah.
didn't work out well, but it was a good idea.
Just
So-
cause.
Just cause?
Yeah.
Make sure you look up HBV Design on Facebook or
Absolutely.
email vanislelady@gmail.com. Get in touch with her if you want to look at your own path tag design.
And make sure you mention that you heard her on Caching in the Northwest.
There you go. There you go. There should be a discount. But she'll probably end up charging more because we're involved.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys.
Oh, those
Oh,
guys. Yeah, no, that's
I'll
a
give you
50%
the
surcharge.
special rate.
Yeah. All right. Now, before we close out tonight, and thanks to everybody who's taken the time to listen to the interview that we did, and my apologies to Kathleen because it was great content but poor recording. So that's all on me.
We won't hold that against her.
No, we shouldn't. Now, before we close out, though, I want to remind you, our listeners, and perhaps our viewers, to submit your scariest caching stories by October 29th to be eligible for a Travel Bug prize.
Ooh, Travel Bug, trackable. And next week's episode, we're going to tell your scariest caching adventures.
No,
We do
no
already
accent.
have scariest caching adventures. Blah. Blah, blah,
I don't
blah.
even say blah. Where did they get
I
this?
don't know where did they get that. Now, we do already have several of your stories in the pipe here, but there's always room for more. And November 6th, the week after that, we're going to talk to Muncie about their charitable work, especially Movember. So to find out more about that, the scary stories, the Movember, all the upcoming shows, check the upcoming shows link, located oddly enough at cachingNW.com/upcoming. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, make sure to tell us.
Because, we're always looking for good ideas.
Absolutely.
And we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Make sure that you're part of the show, especially for our October 30th episode. Call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, correction, or question any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Visit cachingnw.com for the show notes on this show or any more of the Caching in the Northwest podcasts, because we may never have one after this. Also, your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, please click the PayPal button on the website. The show's licensed under a Creative Commons Attributions 3.0 license. Copyright 2014 by Chris Umfenauer.
Good night, governor.
And we're clear of the local recording. How do I make a mistake on reading the end? I've done it, how many weeks now?
Couple.
Yeah,
What do we
at
say
least
here?
twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. More than once.
We don't know how you made mistakes, but we found it terribly entertaining.
Oh, thank
Absolutely.
you. I'm just terrible. So,
And
Wet
entertaining.
Coaster says we should hold the event on Avenue Zero. Or Zero
Now-
Avenue, I think it is.
How about
Now,
Avenue Q?
Avenue Q,
Well-
that's what I was thinking of.
To us Canadians, at least in this part of Canada, the Surrey, Langley, White Rock area here, we have Zero Avenue, which runs right along the border. It's effectively the road at the border, and then there's a ditch,
Ah,
and then there's, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's not South Meridian, but it's not Zero Avenue on the U.S. side. It's a named road. I just can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I guess that's what Google Maps is for.
if only we had the technology to look up places and locations online at any time.
Yeah.
Huh.
If only there was something I could hold in my hand, and then I could input specific locations that I want to go to based on some sort of.
I'm at Google's Maps, but it's broken. It's not working. It won't move.
Is that the Dewey Decimal System?
Yeah, that's what it is. We'll use that to locate books in the library that tell us where geocaches are.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie?
Why did they only pick Dewey? What happened to Huey and Louie? Do
Oh,
they
yeah.
have their own decimal system?
No, created a band.
Oh.
Huey,
Huey,
Louie,
Lou-
and the Duck.
In the news, yeah.
Yeah.
Huey, Louie, in the news.
Well, let's see. Where I-5 crosses, I see H Street. And there's an E Street. That's a band, right?
I was just gonna say that.
B, I don't see A, but I see 99th Street. Oh, there's an A Street on the other side.
It just doesn't sound very organized.
No, you apparently have numbers, we have letters.
And apparently random letters.
Well, there's an A, B, C. Yeah, A doesn't go all the way across like Avenue Zero does, so it's a little
Just
short.
like their postal codes. Those seem rather random.
They do,
They
don't
are.
they? Does
Well,
that help
they-
anyone who's watching?
There's
is
a madness to
alternating.
our method.
It is alternating
Well,
letters, numbers,
wait a
letters,
minute.
numbers. Look at that.
You have 0A Avenue and 0 Avenue.
Of course.
Huh?
0, eh?
Yeah, there's 0B Avenue up here. And then 1 Avenue.
Yep. Well, we only have one.
We have A, and it's, quite a
Okay,
distance.
so there's an A. Okay. I feel much better now.
Why do the Americans have A and the Canadians have 0?
Why not?
Shouldn't the
Okay.
Canadians have A?
No, because then it would just get confusing, because you'd say, where are you driving? Well, I'm on A, eh? If you say,
Driving
I'm
to
on
A?
0A, then it makes sense.
Okay. Well, actually, there is a 0A.
That's right. In which case, you'd say, I'm on 0A, eh?
Yeah.
I'm
And
on my
that's
way to AA.
Oh, dear.
I'm on my way to AA.
So, we've got till June to plan an event. Maybe
we
even
submit 'em already?
simultaneous events. 6 months. Isn't that
Ye-
the thing?
probably. With the way we drive, we could actually do it in the ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah, except then we'd have to deal with
You know
border
what?
security.
If we don't pass border security, we could do it in the lockup. A live recording from the lockup.
They may actually take our electronics before we go into the lockup, though.
Security cameras. Can we just get the footage off of that?
It's just recorded live for future viewing.
Oh, only available to the U.S. or Canadian Army.
On closed circuit.
It's close.
May it please the court to note I'm not contributing to this conversation.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess I should be careful. I don't want my Nexus revoked.
yeah.
Oh, dear.
Why would they take your phone or tablet?
Yeah, exactly. So Wet Coaster asks, or no, it doesn't ask. He explains that computer programmers named the streets, and that's, I think he means avenues, and that's why they start at 0 instead of 1. So they're binary apparently, which still doesn't explain the letters.
No, that doesn't explain the letters at all.
Are they
Then it should be 0
hexadecimal?
and 1. Oh, maybe they're hexadecimal. But
There you go.
then you would go to 1 or 0, 1 through 0, 9 before you hit 0A.
Yeah.
Boy, I hope people are really enjoying how much of their time we're wasting tonight. Oh,
Wet
dear.
Coaster says we can do morning in one country, afternoon in the other.
Hey.
Yeah, he assumes we'll get back across the border ever. Not in a timely manner. I'm just thinking ever.
Ever.
The way I'm offending U.S. states, they may not let me back in.
Yeah, he says you're not going to be let out of the room pretty soon.
Yes.
And have you changed the battery in that ankle bracelet lately? The ankle?
There's a battery?
So that would be a no. And Dora Moore gives some logical advice and says we could just all meet at the Peace Arch.
We could. That would be peaceful.
Of course,
I
don't know.
might as well go ahead.
I don't know whose cellular service you'd be on. I think generally I'm on roaming on the U.S. anytime I get within a few blocks of the border.
Because we don't know how to turn off our signals at the border. We just bleed everywhere.
Yeah. I was in the San Juan Islands and seeing
Yeah.
Rogers just fine.
I've done that. I was going to say we could do, as long as we're offending people, I might as well offend people too. I was going to say we
Please
could
join in.
We could do the show from Point Roberts because nobody really knows who that belongs to.
There you go. It's basically no man's land.
Yeah.
Then we
It's
won't
fine by
offend
me.
anyone.
Yeah. Except for the 12 people who live there.
Oh yeah.
I just figured I'd get in the offensive being here as well. It's kind
Sure.
of feeling left out.
There's the act of being offensive. The
That's right.
active act?
The active act, not the passive act. There's no such thing as a passive act of being offensive.
Wait, what about passive aggressive?
That's aggressive, not offensive.
Oh.
Unless your aggressiveness is offending.
I'm lost.
We should stay well south of the 49th parallel and do the show in like Victoria.
There you go.
Clever. Take the ferry.
Yeah.
That way we'd all have to take a ferry, and it's
There
a
you
level
go.
playing field.
There you go. Could we do it on a ferry?
You can. I don't know about the ferry up from. Where does it go from in the States to Victoria?
Port Angeles.
Port Angeles, yeah. We
Don't
can
know
take
if
a high
that
speed.
Don't know if that one has Wi-Fi. That's the Coho, isn't it? Something like that.
Right, the Black Ball Ferry, the MV Coho.
Yeah. The ferry from Tawasin to Victoria has Wi-Fi on it. I know that.
You think you need Wi-Fi. You don't always need the Wi-Fis.
That's true.
Gentlemen, I'm going to call it an evening. I had quite a busy day.
Yes.
It wasn't a terrible, no bad. Very
Terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
that one. I thought I had it when I started, but I quickly lost it.
You may have. It just didn't complete properly.
It never does. No, like I said, my brain is the equivalent of Jello right now.
All right, Jello head.
Speak English at any time is a miracle, but tonight is another thing.
All right, sir. Well, call it a night then.
It's a night.
Let's stop living.
We stop living. Wet Coaster says we could do it in Alaska and actually be in the Northwest.
There you go.
Good advice. We'll see you there, White Coaster.
But there's always the Northwest Territories.
Oh.
Ooh, clever. And bonus points to knowing your Canadian geography there.
Good night, all.
Night,
Ciao.
folks. Thanks for coming.